and welcome to this FPL Gameweek 14 team selection video with me, Holly Shand. In today's video, I'll be reviewing how my Gameweek 13 went before looking ahead with the midweek fixtures, the top transfers in, and my watch list ahead of FPL Gameweek 14, as well as the all-important transfer plans, captaincy and team selection. Help me on my journey to 15,000 subscribers by subscribing and liking this video. Thanks for the support. Let's get into it. So I'm recording this video on Monday, so we haven't quite seen the conclusion to game week 13, but it's been an average one for me, 54 points. Thank goodness I captained Haaland. A lot of managers went Salah. I do feel sorry for them because it did look like the better fixture on paper, especially once we got some team links as well. I was disappointed to have benched Trossard, but Andreas came in with a 10-pointer anyway, which made up for it. Mitrovic got his return as well. A lot of points on the bench this week. I've got away with it. Some managers have had some ridiculous scores on their benches, but onwards and upwards, we look ahead to game week 14. Now we have 7 teams in action this midweek ahead of FPL game week 14 with Champions League, Europa League and Europa Conference League action. So if you're able to hold off on your transfers, then I recommend you do so. We're seeing the transfer market dominated by Miguel Almiron, who's actually the highest scoring player since the international break with 5 goals in 5 games. Kevin De Bruyne is also doing pretty well in the transfer market after getting another goal in game week 13. And Trossard, he popped up against the run of form with a goal for Brighton. Tricky fixture next, but I think given how we've seen Brighton perform under new manager Roberto De Zerbi, we can see plenty of potential from Trossard. Now with that performance last weekend, Almiron is now firmly on the watch list. Newcastle United are playing really well. Almiron had 6 shots in game week 13, 5 of them came in the box, and he's 5th for shots since the international break with 18 as well, which shows that his returns can be sustainable. Managers are actually weighing up whether to transfer out Salah for Almiron, which is absolutely crazy if we'd have mentioned that at the start of the season. But it could be a move that's justified. I'm a form over fixtures manager, and right now, you know, Almiron's smashing it out of the park, but can we really sell Salah ahead of a home fixture against Leeds? Now, the second player on my watch list, bit of a rogue one here, is Ollie Watkins. He's impressed me in terms of his underlying numbers in recent games, and in game week 13 he had 5 shots on target, got his goal, which is going to be massive for his confidence. Hopefully we're going to see a return to form now for Villa. Gerrard out, give them a new lease of life. And he was obviously as well in game week 13 top for big chances with 4 and XG with 1.97. All of these stats are taken from Fantasy Football Hub's Opta tool, link in the description to access that and get 30% off your membership. Thing that surprised me though with Watkins, he's been top for shots on target since the international break with 12 and top for big chances with 9 and XG with 4.71. Admittedly, he's been quite wasteful, but the potential is there, and maybe that goal in game week 13 was just the tipping point. Now, the final player on my watch list this week is Andreas Pereira. Now, this may sound strange because I own him already, but I'm altering my thinking now and thinking, do I need to be playing Pereira as a starter in my squad? In game week 13, he had 5 successful crosses, took 5 corners as well, top for that metric, and expected assists, he was second at 0.93, that one big chance as well. So the underlying numbers are there. He's actually second for successful crosses since the international break behind Trippier with 15. He's 4th for key passes with 13 and 3rd for big chances created with 3. And when you're playing alongside Mitrovic, who's scored 3 and 3 since returning from injury, you really need to think of the output that Pereira is going to get with someone on the end of all of those crosses. When it comes to my transfer plans then, I've got just one free transfer, 0.2 million in the bank. I cannot bring myself to sell Salah ahead of Leeds at home, no matter how poor he's been in games this season. The other potential move to make would be to transfer out one of my defenders, because I've got Dunk, Neco Williams and Emerson, who are kind of struggling for form or don't have the best fixture this week. The potential replacement I could go for with Lewis Dunk would be to Ben White at Arsenal. I've got no Arsenal players at the moment 2 good fixtures in their next 3. So it's a move that I'm weighing up, and while 2 free transfers does feel more valuable for next week, we've only got 3 weeks now until the World Cup break where we get unlimited transfers. We're dead ending our team, so I feel like being proactive and using 1 free transfer rather than having 2 this week could be the right way to play. When it comes to my team selection then, Dunk will be out for White, who will get a starting berth in my defence this week, and the headache, Andreas at the moment is on my bench with Trossard starting. It was the right decision to expect Andreas to outscore Trossard last week, so I am tempted to make the switch again. It's a difficult one though, because I think Andreas Pereira is really capable of a really good score. If you look at his returns over the last 4 game weeks, 6, 5, 3 and 10, it's looking really good for him, and obviously a home game against Everton. So that's the thing I'm going to be weighing up ahead of the deadline on Saturday. But of course, I will share my final team on here as well as over on my Twitter and Instagram channels handle at Holly Shand. Now, I will get through all of your questions within 24 hours of this video going live, so drop your questions in the comments, and thank you so much for supporting the channel so far this season. Please smash that subscribe button, help me get to 15,000 subscribers. It will make my week in FPL. Good luck everyone for FPL Game Week 14.